What's up? Welcome back. Hey, today let's talk about go bags, but go bags with a twist. So you go on YouTube, you type in go bag, and you are gonna find probably a million, if not hundreds of thousands of videos out there about go bags. And go bags from a giant rucksack to an Altoids can and everything in between. You're gonna find the guy who is the premier minimalist that takes nothing, and then you're gonna find the guy who takes literally everything plus the kitchen sink plus the fucking refrigerator. Now, those are great videos and those are fun to watch, and I also enjoy watching those because I get a lot of ideas from a lot of people. But let's put a twist on this, just a little one. Let's pretend that the world is in chaos, which we almost are, and we are in a place that is not good for anybody. Let's pretend that this place is, hey, at any point in time, you could be stopped by a rebel patrol, the government, what have you, and searched, stripped, all your possessions taken away, and, your family gets raped or whatever, right? There's probably like 7 dozen movies that have that in there, more than likely. But let's pretend that's the case, right? So, if you needed a go bag to where you're driving along the road, you see a checkpoint, oh my gosh, those guys are gonna steal all my shit. What kind of go bag would you need to pull off the road, jump out of your vehicle, and go and hide? And or you're driving by yourself, you're trying to get away from somebody. All of a sudden, you got a little bit of head start, you pull over, you jump out of your vehicle, and you're gonna go, right? And throw some twist in there, okay? So let's start with the go bags themselves, right? Here I have what I would consider like the biggest go bag that I would probably have, because in the situation I'm talking about, speed is security, right? You hear that with a lot of jobs, like the jobs that I've been in, and you hear that with a lot of things with the military. Speed is security. So if I have a big old 50, 60 pound rucksack that I can only walk, slow with, it's not going to do me any good. I can have everything in there, but it's not going to do me any good if I'm trying to hide from the enemy, if I'm trying to evade capture, if you will. We can throw that twist on there too. Let's say you've been captured, you got away, and you were able to, have a little go bag and they're still looking for you. Whatever. Any of those cool guy situations. If anybody writes a movie about this, you owe me money. So this would be about the biggest bag I would consider to be a go bag of that sort, right? This is an Eberly stock. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I got it on sale like 2 months ago. This is the one where if you unzip the bottom, it turns in, it's like foreskin. Boop, look at that. And all of a sudden a penis pops out. It's like foreskin, penis, foreskin, penis. You guys are weird, by the way. Anyways, you can take a gun, collapse it down, and you can shove it in here, and it becomes a little gun bag, right? Then I have a little bit smaller. This is a Mystery Ranch. Again, I don't know the name of what it is. I just know it's a Mystery Ranch bag. It's kind of tiny, it's kind of small, super, super, super lightweight. You can obviously pack everything you want into this. You pack everything, stuff on the outside. But you can pack as much stuff as you want in this. I think this would be a really good size, unless you needed to carry a rifle, and then this would be a better size. And then we have like a sling bag, right? This is the bag that I use to put medical supplies and stuff in when I go to my son's wrestling tournaments. It's just camouflage because it's cool, obviously. This is just a little Merrill sling bag, and the Merrill sling bag goes around my body better than like the North Face one. Like this one can actually fit. because I'm not a little dude, and some of them they only fit little people. So, but this is another great option. You know why? It's even smaller, even lighter, but it's way easier to carry. You could probably fit what you needed in here if you were already, wearing the proper stuff, and you'd be just fine. Especially if you're just trying to evade, right? We're not talking evading for 3 days. We're talking evading for, let's say up to like 24 hours, right? Now, what would you need in these bags? Well, let's first look at what you're wearing. So if you're going to be running around with like cry pants and a ghillie, you probably don't need much. The little sling bag will probably take care of everything you needed, right? However, if you're running around with this stuff on, you probably look like a weirdo and they're going to be able to spot you from a mile away. So, probably not the greatest idea. Pants. Let's talk about that. Let's say it's the summertime and you're wearing shorts. Do you need to have maybe you go buy a pair of the $80 knockoff Cry Precision pants that can ball up really, really tight. And, maybe you don't need whatever the fuck these are called. What are these called? Whatever they are, you know what I'm talking about. It's early right now. Maybe you don't need these, and you can put these in a little bag, right? You can ball these up real tight. Now, obviously that sling bag would not work very well, but either the Mystery Ranch or the Everly stock would work just fine. And you can shove this down the bottom. That way, if you did pull over, boom, pop out your pants, throw these bad boys on, half your body's already camouflaged, right? So if you went out and bought a cheapy pair of these, and they don't have to be multi-cam, obviously, depending on the time of year and the region and where you're at and all that jazz, maybe this would not be the best camouflage. Maybe woodland or that tropical stuff or whatever, or I'm not going to say ACU because that's just gross. Another type of camouflage would be the best for your environment, right? Where I live in Colorado, multicam is pretty damn spot on. So, pants, right? Footwear. So, generally speaking, I don't wear flip-flops all that often. If I'm running to Walmart or if I'm at the beach or on a boat, obviously. But generally speaking, if I'm cruising around, I'm either have tennis shoes on or, some sort of boot or something. But I do keep these in my truck because I have been in situations where when I was younger and dumb that I had a pair of footwear on that was not conducive to where I got stuck at. And I have suffered cold feet and wet feet because of it. So I took an old pair of shoes. These are just Reebok like trail running shoes and a nice thick pair of trail running socks. I shoved them in here and I keep them in my truck. Okay? Just in case I get caught with my pants down out in the middle of nowhere and I need to put a pair of shoes on to get me for help, right? So I can go get help or something like that. These are not like super Gore-Tex, these are nothing like that. These are literally old shoes that are comfortable, that I know that I can walk in for a long time, and they are much better than wearing like dress shoes or flip-flops. But obviously, if you got a pair of boots, that would be even better, right? Whatever kind of boots you like, whatever your flavor is, whatever. My favorite boots of all time, I gotta say A-Solos. I bought a pair of A-Solos, summited Pikes Peak within the first week of having them, and they weren't broken at all, and I got like one blister. So for me, A-Solos, hands down, are the best boots out there. But that's just me. You can wear whatever the hell boots you want. I do not care. But footwear. The only bad thing about footwear is the tread patterns, right? People can track you pretty easily. So if you've never been to like a counter tracking class or anything like that, or evasion class, then maybe you might want to hit up one of those. Other than that, man, you got to have good footwear. You got to take care, if I can speak, you got to take care of your footsies, because they're what's going to get you from point A to point B, right? Boom. Okay, Bodywear, right? Now, this jacket, this nice, beautiful Arc'teryx jacket, this is not something I don't want to wear. Why do you ask? Well, it's awesome. It's super thin. It's unbelievably lightweight, and it's super, super warm. Right now, it's 50 degrees out in my gym because it's in the morning, and it's really cold. This thing is awesome, but it's pure black. If you've ever been to any camouflage, any kind of school, anywhere in the world, you know that there's nothing in nature that is pure black. So it's not something I would wear for this hypothetical situation. Now, this is a little windbreaker, a little champion windbreaker, right? I think I got it on sale, like a Christmas sale, for like 20 bucks, maybe 30 bucks. Nothing super special, but it's something that I can throw on over if I'm wearing a white shirt, an orange shirt, whatever. I can throw on over that, right? It'll break the wind. It breaks up the pattern. Don't worry about this, people. Like this little champion thing. Nobody's going to see that if you're actually out in the woods, okay? So long gone are the days of when I got my EIB, where you had to camouflage everything. They told you to stick your arm up, and then your sleeve went down, and then this part wasn't camouflaged. They're like, oh, you're a no-go. That doesn't happen in real life, okay? Unless, remember the movie Sniper? And he was laying there, and the dude was like peeing on him. Unless that's the case, or the dog was sniffing him, and he pulled the shit towards him, the horse shit. Unless the dude is like right on you like that, he's not going to see that. It's just not going to happen, right? So, little things like this, if you want to, can you see that? Little things like that. If you want to, by all means, darken it up, go ahead. But you don't have to, is what I'm saying. But this thing is cool. It's not going to provide any warmth. Like I said, it's just a windbreaker. So it's not going to provide any warmth, but it provides a little camouflage and lets you break up the outline, right? And yes, I'm kind of mixing and matching wherever I put this. Here we go. I'm mixing and matching camo patterns. I know it's a fashion faux pas, but it'll be okay. Right? But, again, this thing, look at that. Boom. You could put this in that little sling bag and be perfectly fine. You could only wear this and have blue jeans on, and you know, this is much better than nothing, right? Because when you're crouching down, things like that, your legs are probably already going to be hidden by, something you're standing behind, or a tree or something. And your upper body, your torso is what you're going to be looking around, things like that. So that's what they're going to see, all right? So, upper body. Next. Since we were talking about that, since we were talking about hands, glovers, right? So these are just some pig gloves that are actually woodland camo, hashtag God's camo. And they're just shooting gloves, right? You can't even see that. Look at that. Look how good that camo is. Man. Right? Again, do you need it? No, you don't. For me, since I can remember, I've always liked wearing gloves when I'm doing stuff, working with stuff, you know, going through the woods, grabbing stuff, things like that. So for me, I love gloves. And by the way, never touch a homeless person without gloves on. And if you're going to use those little rubber gloves, double them up because they're gross. Anyways, gloves. Out in the woods, these are good. They keep your hands from getting cut, things like that. Because a small cut, man, that just sucks when you're out there, right? So gloves, bam, done. Let's go to face. If you're not carrying a little camo pack, you can use the old net gator, right? This is one area that, you know, if you cover your torso and you have your face, you know, covered up, it's probably a really good thing, okay? Especially if you're trying to hide from some people. This is a nice little, you know, gator like that. I can't even remember, like these were, I mean, probably got off Amazon for a couple bucks, right? Super cheap. You use that. So, last thing for camouflage is some sort of headgear, Okay, so we could go from like a sniper ghillie, like not a veil, but just a sniper ghillie, right? We can go from one of these. We can go to, you know, a hat. Either one of these, you know. This one's obviously way more tactical than this one, but they both provide a little bit of camouflage, right? And you could even just throw a sniper veil in there, okay? You can throw that over your head. It breaks up the outline of the human head. As we all know, that's very noticeable. It breaks up your face. You can also take this, you can wrap it around you if it does get cold. You guys see that? Yeah. Vogue, Vogue, Vogue. Anyway, you can keep this to keep warm. It provides a little bit of warmth. Throw your hands in there if your hands are cold. A little bit of warmth, right? So, if we're looking at our bags and we're looking at our stuff, saying, okay, what are we wearing? Well, the windbreaker, the face, and a hat, that's like covering up 90% of your body, and it doesn't take up too much space at all. That would be my go-to, okay? Usually, if I'm wearing pants, I don't wear blue jeans that often. I usually wear like cool pants, and they're usually either a tan or like a gray, something like that. So I'm not too worried about my lower half. If I'm wearing boots, I'm almost always wearing A-solos. And I do have those pair of shoes in my truck, just in case I'm not. So that covers most of it, right? The only thing it wouldn't cover is if you're cold. Now I could throw this on and throw the camouflage over this, and then I'd be super warm. Well, you can't have a Pro 2A channel like myself and not talk about guns, right? Like, duh. Okay, so my EDC, Glock 43X, Palmetto State Armory, 15 round mags. I got 2 mags, 1 gun, 1 flashlight, 1 hollow sun. This is gonna take care of most of my problems, okay? So, this is always on me. If this isn't on me, this is gonna be on me, okay? Oh my God, you flagged the camera. Yeah, I know, it's okay. It doesn't even have mag in it, calm down. Okay. So if I already have this on me, what else do I need? Well, do I need a giant battle belt? That's gonna be pretty hard to fit in your bag. You could have this in your truck. That would, I mean, you could, but then if somebody breaks into your shit and steals it, like that would really suck, because this is a lot of money up in these belts, right? Especially if you have, you know, an expensive gun on there. So maybe that's not the best route to take. Maybe something like this, and if you toss in just a single mag holder, you can either go for 20 or 30 or more round mags, and you'll be a little bit good to go, right? If you're trying to stay incognito, I think that's French for, like, you know, gray man. I don't know, maybe. If you watched one of my contractor videos, I talked about how we used to rock 20 round mags kind of on our back hip because it's less easier to see than a giant 30 round mag sticking up. So if you're gonna go incognito, then 20 round mags would be the way to go. If you're not, if this is truly a oh shit bag, they done finded me and now I got to run, then maybe something like this would be better, right? I think this is like a Fast Tech, is that what they're called? I can't remember. But, or you can just go, this is like the paddle. Throw that on your belt, bam. Then you just took that weight, you took that weight out of your bag, put it on your hip, then you get your happy mag, right? Boom, or your ready mag, it's ready to go. And then if you're rocking a long gun, maybe this does stay in your truck, right? Maybe you're not staying there overnight, but maybe this is just like your truck gun. And you got this bad boy, and this is your kind of go-to gun if shit hits the fan. So you got this truck gun, you pull it out, you camouflage yourself real quick, you pull your gun out. Let's say you already have a mag or a drum or whatever your primary is. This would be your secondary right there, and then you're just trying to survive for 24 hours. And then you're good to go, right? Again, this is not I'm going to carry the kitchen sink on me because it's just unrealistic, right? And if we're going to have an unrealistic scenario, at least have some realistic things we're talking about, right? Now, I would much rather have a bigger, longer gun, but guess what? It doesn't matter because I can shoot pretty damn good with this little guy. I can shoot a little better with this guy, but I can shoot pretty damn good with that guy. And our pistol is not our primary weapon anyway. It's going to be our long gun. If your pistol is your primary weapon, well, then you didn't plan accordingly, and you might get fucked. Especially if they have long guns. Anyways. Boom, we got all those, right? That's our gun stuff. Now, what else are we going to have in this bag? Okay. Let's say a couple things I would definitely have. Talk about that a little bit. Maybe some binos, right? Maybe not these big ass Nikons. These are awesome, by the way. Made in Japan, son of a bitch. Oh well. So these big ass Nikons, maybe they're a little bit too big, too bulky. Maybe you have a little monocular, like the Monopoly guy. But something like that so you can see what's going on. You can see ahead, you can see behind, you can see what's going on. That'd be the way to go. Headlamp, usually worn around the neck by cool guys. Make sure it's got a red lens because that is not as visible as far away. Plus it doesn't take away your night vision, blah, blah, blah. Definitely need a flashlight though. Usually I carry one on me, so that way I would have two. And I'm not a Navy SEAL, so two is not one and one is not none. I just have two. What else? Ooh. Med. So this is an IFAK I made myself, but you could choose any, if you want to carry just a tourniquet, okay, I guess. Maybe some pressure bandage, some gauze, right? Do you need scissors? Yeah, if you have a knife, like you should always carry a knife on you, like a normal man. Then you may not need this, right? If you can do it slowly so you don't poke people. But if you're gonna have an OPA, make sure you got the lube. So we talked about how that was not cold weather gear. What if it is chilly in your area? Cold weather gear, right? This is just a North Face beanie that the colors, they kind of go with all your other colors, right? Kind of go with like maybe hiding you. No one's gonna be able to read this if you're a little ways away and you're hiding in the trees, don't worry. But cold weather gear, maybe cold weather gloves, like my fingers get cold all the time. I have some cold weather pig gloves that are awesome. So let's see. Let's do this. So ear pro, right? Are you gonna need ear pro or do you need comms on your ear pro? Do you need that stuff? I don't know. I don't, say that much. My hearing's gone anyway, so fuck it. Okay. Bad guys are hunting. Bad guys got guns. You have some body armor. This is my old cop body armor when I was the police. This is out of date, so they won't issue it to any cops. However, even out of date, because it hasn't seen like hardly any UV light or anything like that, this stuff's still good. I've seen testing done where this stuff's 10 years old and it still stops bullets just fine. This is not going to stop 5.56. It's going to rip right through you. But for most handguns, things like that, this will be okay. Hard plates, right? Like an actual hard plates. You're not going to fit this in any one of those bags. If you ever wore this for an extended period of time, going on hikes through the mountains, you'll soon know that it's very uncomfortable and that it gets really hot and you really hate your life. It's also loud, and it makes it harder to get through certain areas, right? However, if in this scenario, either like Red Dawn or, Civil War happens, this is going in my truck, staying, wherever I go, this is going to go. Same with my long gun. Wherever I go, that's going to go. Same with my battle belt. That's going to go right alongside here. So if in the scenario in your mind, it's a Civil War, red versus blue or whatever, regular haired people versus blue haired people, whatever. If that's the case, then definitely have this in your truck. Yes, it can't fit in a bag, but I would much rather have this in my truck along with my battle belt and my long gun, fully kitted out. Obviously, this one's not fully kitted out. We were just out shooting not too long ago. Fully kitted out with all the stuff that I wanted or needed on it. That way, it's ready to go, okay? If this is your flavor, then by all means, kick ass. If it's not, but maybe you don't even have one of these, then that's okay. I mean, if I was a civilian, I don't know if I'd have one either. Like, never in the military or anything. Probably not. I don't know. So, a couple other things. One thing that I have is a Pro Mask, right? I have two different kinds of filtration systems for this. This is for a couple things. So just if you guys don't know, dead bodies stink like really bad. So when I was a cop and we'd go into a house with a dead body, I would throw a Pro Mask on because it's disgusting. And the coroners would never do it. And I was like, what the hell's wrong with you people? They're fucked up in the head. That's what's wrong with them. But I wore it all the time. The other great thing those are for is for like wildfires. If you live in an area with wildfires, you're trying to get away from wildfire, slap that bad boy on. You can drive with it as long as your tires don't pop because the road is so hot. And yes, that's happened a lot. Then you can get away. You won't die of smoke inhalation, anything like that with one of the bad boys on. They're on Amazon for you can get them pretty cheap nowadays. Right on Amazon, and you can stock up and and again, Civil War, they're throwing smoke or whatever. Now what's up? Okay, so I've been talking about being out in the woods, camouflage, stuff like that. What if you're in the city? Well, son of a bitch, in the city, this may not be so bad. I want to kind of blend in a little bit, maybe more of a gray color to blend in, with buildings and garbage and things like that. But other little things in the city, like my, Silcox key. I got one of them in my truck and one of them in another bag. They're the keys to turn the water on and off, like on the city water spigots. That's, great things because we only drink water, right? Another thing that we have, like where I work, we implemented this, and it goes with our active shooter kit, so you can barricade yourself in a room. It's just a doorstop. You go in the room, you put the doorstop in, and then you barricade the door. This is not something that cannot be defeated very easily. I mean, you can kick it in, eventually you'll defeat this. But it gives you those precious moments of time that you need to maybe think about your situation, grab a weapon, things like that. So if you're trying to evade people in a city, you can go in a public bathroom, slap this bad boy in, and then you don't have to worry about people just barging in. They're going to go like this. They're going to think the door is locked, and then they're probably going to be on their way. Now, if bad guys are looking for you and they try to do that, the door is locked, they're probably going to start kicking it in. But like if you're taking a nap, they're going to kick it in once. You're going to wake up. You're going to be able to grab your gun. You're going to go to town, right? So something like this, super like this is rubber, super lightweight, super easy to carry. It doesn't take up any space. It doesn't take up any weight. It's just one of those things that can, and there's a million different kinds of door stops. So something like this, worth its weight in gold. So what are we missing? Food and water, right? Or any other survival item you may want. Fire starting, I don't know if I'd recommend a fire unless it's in dire straits because in our situation, you're trying to hide from people. But food and water, you definitely need some snacky poos, licky and chewy, some pokey bait, whatever you want to call it. Throw that in your bag, stuff that lasts for a long time, like beef jerky and things like that. Stuff that can last for a while, you can leave in your bag for, a few months or whatever. Water is always great. The smart water and the bottles are really robust and pretty good. You can take old Gatorade bottles and fill them with water. Those bottles are really hardy as well. That way they don't break as soon as you throw your pack on the ground or whatever. So anyways, hey, it's a made up scenario. It's made up stuff. There is probably a million more things that you can throw in there that you can do. But what would you do? I mean, your situation, wherever you live, wherever it's cold, it's hot, fall, spring, what have you, right? You may need mosquito spray because you live in the South where you hate yourself and the mosquitoes are as big as this goddamn thing and they're like, and they're trying to kill you. Maybe you need that. Maybe you live in a place where it's cold the majority of the time and you need to pack, a coat like this constantly in your bag. Maybe you live in a place where boots are really not a thing that people wear, so you would stick out big time if you wore boots. So all those things you need to consider. Plus, do you live in a city? Do you live in rural? Do you live in the woods? All that good stuff, right? But hey, let's hope Red Dawn never happens. Because if it does happen, guaranteed the Russians and the Cubans would get annihilated super quick because we don't play that fucking game. And we've seen how Ukraine is handling Russia. And I think the rednecks of America would just hand them their ass real quick. And Cubans, you're like this big. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, that's all I got for today. I had fun making this video. I was thinking of it for like a week, and my kids we were talking about it. So it's a great video. It's great fun to make things like this because it gets your brain thinking of what maybe you would want to have or things like that, right? If you've never gone to I don't want to say SEER school because that's like a military thing, but an evasion class or anything like that, there are probably some out there, and they're really fun because they really do teach you a lot. They teach you about footprints, how to track people, how to do anti-tracking or counter-tracking. They teach you how to survey landscapes for people and things like that. They're super fun. Highly recommend them. I don't know any civilians that do it, but there are probably some out there. I think Grand Thumb's buddy, I think he does one or something like that. Maybe Grand Thumb himself does one. But they're great fun. Highly suggest them. And that's about all I got. So, ask yourself, are you an asset or a liability?